Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, I'm going to be smoking up a ranchero style pork loin, and I'm also going to be making up some ranchero cilantro lime rice that is going to make your mother-in-law smile. Stay tuned. Alright, so before I get started on this cook, I did want to mention to you guys that I did make it to the third round of the Barbecue Pitmasters of YouTube cooking competition. On this round, I got selected to cook against Darren from Ash Kickin' Barbecue, and we got drawn to cook a pork loin, and here's my cook. I hope you enjoy it. Alright, so here's my pork loin, and this bad boy is 20 inches long, so I'm going to be cutting it in half just to make it easier to handle once I put it in my smoker, because I am going to be stuffing this. So right around here. The only thing better than one stuffed pork loin is two stuffed pork loins. So I'm going to be trimming up some of the silver skin on the fat side. As you can see, one has a lot more silver skin than the other. So I do have my 6-inch boning knife, and what I like to do is just go right under that silver skin and try to stay right above that meat. Okay, just like that. We're going to come all the way across to remove that silver skin. See that? Just like that. This is a big old piece of silver skin, which can be tough, okay? You don't necessarily have to remove it all, but when you have a lot like this one does, you definitely want to get in there and try to remove most of it, okay? Just like this. I'm also going to be taking some of this fat off right here. It's going to expose that silver skin that is right below that. Okay. All right, so you can see how much silver skin and fat I took off this pork loin, and this is exactly what we're looking for right here. I'm gonna go ahead and trim up this other one, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I've got my pork loin nice and cleaned up. So now it's time to butterfly these so I can stuff it, and I'm gonna show you how I do it, okay? I like to start right up here at the top. Just draw a straight line down. Now you don't wanna cut all the way through, okay? Just easy does it, little at a time. Like that, okay? So once it lays nice and flat, then you can start cutting nice and straight, making sure that you don't cut through the bottom of your loin, okay? And take it slow. Just keep rolling it out. And there you have it, okay? Real simple. So I'm gonna go ahead and butterfly this other one, and we'll be right back. All right, so we're gonna be stuffing both pork loins with some chorizo. So I've got 24 ounces of chorizo that I'm gonna be taking out of the casing, okay? Now this is a natural casing, but I like to take the chorizo out. All right, so I've got all 24 ounces of chorizo in this cast iron skillet. And I am using my Heston Q induction burner. Just gonna turn it up to about halfway and get this chorizo nice and cooked. All right, so I've got my chorizo cooked up and it has been cooled off a little bit. So I'm just gonna grab a spoonful and put it right on top of our pork loin. just like that. Spread it out. Now if you notice, I did leave about an inch on the edges because the chorizo will eventually work its way out to the edges once we roll it up and start to cook this, okay? So that looks good right there. So I'm going to be sprinkling some of the ranchero rub from Cattleman's Grill on top of my chorizo. So the chorizo already has some really good seasonings, really good smoky flavors to it. This ranchero rub is going to kick it up a couple of notches, okay? So next, I've got some asadero cheese, and they call this a tortilla asadero cheese because it's flattened out just like a tortilla. Okay, so I'm just going to lay the asadero cheese over our chorizo, just like that. And this asadero cheese makes the world's best quesadillas. If you guys have never had it, I highly recommend you give it a shot. All right, so I'm just going to fill in this gap with half a piece of asadero, just like this. That is looking good right there. Actually, we have a bare spot right here, so I'm gonna put some more asadero cheese right there. All right, time to roll it up. All right, just like this, I've got some butcher's twine. Just gonna grab the edges first. And tie your knot super tight. Okay, we're going to be trussing this about every inch or so. Just a simple double knot. All right, so I'm just going to cut the excess butcher's twine off. All right, so now I'm going to season the outside of our pork loin, again with some of the ranchero rub from Cattleman's Grill. Just give it a good coating. This rub is absolutely delicious on pork and chicken as well. Get our edges. Some of that cheese and the chorizo is already peeking out. All right, look at that. Does that not look beautiful or what? I'm gonna get this other one done and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I've got both of my pork loins stuffed up and trussed up. Look at this. I did transfer them to a wire rack. I'm gonna be smoking these in my Yoder 640 pellet smoker. I've got it warming up outside at 250 degrees. I'll see you guys there. All right, so my smoker's up to 250 degrees. So let's go ahead and put our pork loin in on the top shelf. Just gonna slide the shelf out a little bit. And look at these bad boys right here. They already look good and they're not even cooked. All right, so I'm gonna be using the Yoder probes and I'm gonna put it right down the middle of this pork loin, okay? I'm gonna put the shelf back in. We're looking for 145 degrees internal. I'll bring you guys back in about an hour and a half. We'll check the internal temperature and also the color. Stay tuned. All right, so it's been 1.5 hours since we put our pork loins inside the smoker. Let's take a look. I haven't opened this lid since we put them in. Oh yeah, look at that cheese oozing out. Oh man, it smells absolutely delicious. So the internal temperature right now is 93 degrees. So the only thing I'm gonna do is just flip these around because that back one does seem to be cooking a little bit faster. And obviously I wanna cook them evenly. All right, so I'm gonna let these continue to smoke for about another hour or so. Or if we hit 145 degrees internal before that, I will bring you guys back. Stay tuned. All right, so it's been 2 hours and 15 minutes and the internal temperature of these pork loins is 113 degrees. So I just melted some butter down and put it in this squeeze bottle. I'm just gonna squeeze a little bit of butter on top of both pork loins. This is gonna start to darken the surface a little bit. All right, so these are about 30 degrees from being done. Let's head inside and make that ranchero cilantro lime rice. All right, let's make our ranchero cilantro lime rice. I've got my Heston Q induction burner. Just gonna turn it on a medium heat. And I've got 2 tablespoons of butter. Just gonna let this melt down real quick. All right, so our butter is melted down, so I'm gonna add 1 small yellow onion and 1 small red bell pepper. We're gonna cook this for about 3 minutes. All right, so the onions and peppers have been cooking for 3 minutes. Now I'm gonna add 3 cloves of garlic and let that cook for about 30 seconds. All right, so now I'm gonna add 1 1/4 cups of jasmine rice. All right, so we're gonna cook the rice for 2 minutes. Keep stirring the rice so it doesn't burn on you. All right, so next I'm gonna add half a can of rotel, which is just tomatoes and green peppers. I'm also gonna be adding 1 can of black beans. Got 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Give this a good stir. Now I'm adding 2 cups of vegetable broth. I'm going to be adding 1 1/4 cups of corn. This is fresh corn. Give that a good mix. All right, we're going to let this come to a boil, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so the rice is boiling. I'm just gonna cover it and bring the temperature down all the way down to low. I am monitoring the pit temperature, and I'm also monitoring the pork loin temperature. We're sitting at 124 degrees internal. We'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so the rice has been cooking for 25 minutes and it is ready to go. Check this out. So what you wanna do next is just fluff it up a little bit. Oh man, this is absolutely perfect. Give it a good mix there. We're gonna add about 1/4 cup of cilantro. Remember, this is a cilantro lime rice. And I'm also gonna squeeze 1 whole lime into the rice. Oh man, this smells delicious. All right, give that a good mix. All right, the pork loin just hit 145 degrees. I'm gonna go grab it. I'll see you guys back in a bit. All right, so the rice and our pork loins are ready. Check out this bad boy right here. Look at that. Does that not look gorgeous? So what I need to do now is remove my butcher's twine. I'm just gonna use my scissors to take this off. Like that. All right, let's slice it up and see how we did. It's gonna take some good thick slices right here. Oh yes. Man, this smells good. Good smoke ring, nice crust on the surface, and it's extremely juicy. Oh man, that looks good. Look at that right there. Does that not look delicious? Really nice smoke ring, and look at all the juices that are coming out of this pork loin. I'm gonna plate this up. All right, let's plate up our pork loin. Man, got a really nice big plate. Just gonna spread them out nice and even right here. Good cheesiness and that smoky chorizo. All right, I'm gonna grab some of our ranchero cilantro lime rice, just like that, and put it on both sides of our gorgeous looking pork loin right there. All right, there you go. I got my smoked ranchero pork loin. I've got my ranchero cilantro lime rice. Let's give this a shot. All right, so before I dig into this food, I do want to remind you to check out Darren from Ash Kickin' Barbecue's video. I'm gonna leave a link inside the description box along with some of the items that I use in this video. I'm also gonna be leaving a link on where you can register to win a Yoder Y640 pellet smoker like the one that I used today. All right, let's dig in and see how we did. Oh man, it's nice and juicy. It smells absolutely delicious. Gonna give me a big old piece. Look at that. There we go. Oh man, this is so good. So this pork loin has a really good smoky flavor. That creaminess of that cheese and the spiciness of the chorizo, it pairs extremely well together. All right, so now let's try our ranchero cilantro lime rice and see how we did. Here we go. So that ranchero rice has an amazing flavor with the black beans, the corn, the tomatoes, the peppers. That is really good. Don't forget to check out the other 5 channels that are still in the running for the Barbecue Pitmasters of YouTube barbecue competition. Their links will also be down in the description box. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and vote for me on the Vote Here link down below as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is your first time here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, ask them down below. Until next time, Joe with Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.